true personal growth ultimately will lead to fulfillment. And it's my intention with these podcasts to connect more deeply with you. Thank you for joining me and Corbin and my guests, and welcome to this episode. Well, hello again. It's lovely to be back and with another guest. And the lady's name is Donna Laine. Now, we've only just recently met. I think it was approximately a week ago. But
Yes.
Donna is an author and she has a book out called The Remembering Technique. And to me, it sounds absolutely fascinating. I'll let Donna give us all the details as we continue chatting. But she'll tell you how she came to write the book. And the interesting thing is, I'd never heard about this technique before. And indeed, I think that goes for most people. But Donna has held talks and presentations, and she can give you examples of people who have had remarkable success using this remembering technique. So, Donna, over to you. How did you dream it up?
Morning, Anne. Thank you so much for the invite on your podcast. This is wonderful. So, I've been doing personal development for about 30 years, and there are many techniques that I've tried. Some have worked, some haven't. And I was going through an interesting part in my life, like we do. It was a divorce. I became a single parent. And what I wanted to do actually was find something that would give my daughter and I residual income. So I decided to write a song. And I've never written a song before, but I thought I'd just give it a go because the royalties coming in would probably make our life a little easier. Anyway, when I started to research the composers and actually modern day bands like Chris Martin from Coldplay, I found these guys actually remembered their music. It just downloaded to them, it came to them. And so I thought, oh my gosh, if they can do that with music, can I do that with my life? And so literally, it allowed me to have a go. And I just started in little things and started to see these differences. And I researched it online and nobody else was doing it. And so literally, this is in 2016, 2017. And I was able to create the technique. It's now called the Remembering Technique, but it's about remembering your future memory. So it's quite radical in the fact that we're so used to using our memory to remember to go to the dentist, to shopping list. We talk since infancy to tie our shoes, clean our teeth, and start to use it as behavior. Whereas actually, when we go into the future and we start remembering our dreams and goals and feeling good, and it can even just be a holiday, literally what will happen is the mind cannot tell the difference between reality and imagined. But how do you activate the mind? How do you talk to the mind? Well, memory is something that you use every day. But this way, you turn it on its head, you actually start remembering in the future. And as you do so, the mind will deliver it. So it becomes in ease and flow with your good self. So it's your journey, it's your goals, it's your memory, and you will create it and manifest it yourself.
It sounds to me absolutely fascinating. How easy did you find it to train yourself into this procedure for which there is no training?
So it was really interesting actually, because the first time I tried it out, I actually tried it on a holiday. And it was so I went into the future and my diary, so a diary that we all use. I literally went to a week after the event and I wrote out a lovely visualization with all the feelings of like I packed easily, my wardrobe was really organized, it was effortless to pack the car up, no traffic on the road to the airport, excellent parking space, flight was on time, great crew, perfect journey to the holiday resort. the most wonderful, happy and laughing and fun holiday that I'd ever had, that was so calm and easy. And then we reversed the process to come back, to actually be in the car, to make sure we got to the airport on time. Flight was on time, great crew, landed easily, perfect journey home in the car, to and getting all the washing done and everything sorted. And what I actually did was, it was just like I was feeling like I was playing a game with myself. And so writing it out, and then I signed and dated it when I actually created the memory. And so then I was able to let it go. And literally, it was like as if my suitcase was suddenly packed automatically. The car and my daughter were already loaded. There was no traffic on the way to the airport. And when we get to the airport, parking was so easily. We had enough time to go and have something to eat. Flight was on time. Flight was perfect. It was early. Brilliant journey. The holiday was just magnificent. And you're like, wow, that was so effortless, so easy. And it's funny, actually, I had a guy recently come to see me, and he was in Wales, Cardiff, and I'm in Winchester. So it's a good old journey between the two. And he was just like, I've got to go, I've got to go. And I'm like, oh, what's your problem? And he was just like, oh, well, the traffic, it's going to be this and going to be that. And I'm like, why don't you just try remembering that there was no traffic on the road? It was a very easy journey. You stopped and had something to eat, and you were half an hour early than you thought you were going to be. And he was like, "Oh well, I'm like, no, no, why don't, okay, if you don't want to do it, I'll do it for you." So you effortless journey, did it? So anyway, off he toddled, and lo and behold, later that evening, I got a text from him. He's like, "Who knew there was no traffic on the road? Who knew I'd stop and have something to eat? Who knew I was half an hour early home?" And so it was
And
just
let
like,
me stop you for
and
a
it is.
second.
So that's a working example that of just somebody tried it, and that's how it does. So then I started to implement it to other parts of my life where could I have a good day at work? Could I do it the same day? Could I do it in a month in advance? Because obviously with the holiday, it was like 3 weeks in advance. So I'd gone to a month in advance with writing my remembering technique. And then the holiday had happened exactly how I wanted it. And it was just like, gosh, do you need lots of time to do this? And the answer is no. So once you start to use your memory, your future memory, the mind adapts, and it just literally starts to deliver whatever you ask for. And if, when it does turn up what you ask for, because it always does, you don't like it, you get to remember something different. And that's the art of it. But the thing is, because you're using your language, because you're using your dreams, you're actually using your outcome. What you're able to do is, if when it turns up, it isn't what you wanted, you notice what you didn't want and you change it. So it's completely fluid all the time. You get to do whatever you like. It's brilliant.
So this is as your remembered experience is physically happening, and something that you planned, like a trip to an XYZ, is not as nice as you thought it was going to be. You
Yes.
could say, okay, well, how do you change the memory as it's actually happening?
Right. So what you would do though, so say that was happening and the circumstances weren't going in your favor, because contrast happens, doesn't it?
Mhm.
And we have it every day in life. We have free will with other people. You don't know how they're going to react to what's going on. But actually, what starts to happen is, because you've remembered it being easily and in flow. And the one thing I did find with this, actually, that I'm absolutely clear about, is that I started to remember that my life worked in ease and flow, that I had answers to problems before they happened. Well, some of the most wonderful things happen, but also some of the most awful problems. And I'd be sitting there thinking, well, I know I'm getting through this and I know it's all working out for me, but actually, why am I sad? Why am I upset? Why is this bothering me? And I'd actually forgotten to put the word happily in there. So when I started to change my language, and this is the nuance with this, because literally when you do visualization, when you do goal setting, you can go into the future, you can reverse engineer it, you can do things. But actually, when you start to create it as a memory and it's your memory, you get to use your own emotions. And what we don't do enough is allow ourselves to be happy. We don't allow ourselves to be joyful. We don't allow ourselves to be peaceful. And when you start to have a memory that has all those wonderful positive emotions that um, make it easier, even happier and better, then that's what will happen.
And as you
So,
say, language is terribly important.
very, absolutely,
It's,
yes,
it's using adjectives, really. I did
yes,
the thing, well, adverbs. I did the thing happily, or how you felt. Just searching for the word reminds you about having the feeling.
absolutely. And it's like if you want to conjure up, so because we have 90,000, sorry, 60,000 thoughts a day. 95% of them are repetitive, and 75% of those are negative.
Mm-hmm.
So, what you're constantly talking to yourself about is what you're actually projecting, what you say actually is, you speak it into existence. So, when you're actually using this technique, because you've started to change how you are thinking and what words you are using, literally the energy changes. So if you wanted to take the high vibration or the better feeling, the good feeling of a wonderful day you had at the beach, or it might be in a beautiful garden, or it might be somewhere that just made your heart sing. It was just really, the sun was warm, you felt good because it was sunny, it was light, it was fun, you felt great. Well, we can keep playing those memories. But actually, what if you take that positive memory from the past, you put it into the future? And so actually, you're starting to connect with something that you have absolute certainty with because you've already experienced it. You're putting it into your future, and it just means that you'll get the repetition because we're repeating all the time of that good feel factor. So we use our visualizations, we use our pictures, we use our words to transform ourselves, but we're actually doing it as a future memory, and then the mind will action that.
Amazing. I want to ask you specifically about that young man that you were telling me about 5 years
Yes.
ago. You said very quickly something that I didn't quite catch. Did you do the memory creation for him, or did he do his own?
Well, because the fact he was with me,
Mhm.
and I was just like, oh, well, maybe we should just do a remembering. And he was like, all right. And what, what would that look like? And it was just like, well, and as I said to you, remember that there's no traffic on the motorway, that you stopped and had something to eat and you were still 30 minutes early, you know. And he was like, because you see, the beauty of when you deal with the mind, and it's part of our energy fields, they're incredibly powerful and they will pick up on the energy and the positivity or the negativity, whichever you're projecting at the time. So, you are what you think you are, and you are right. So, when you start to change that, so the fact I was in his company and he didn't believe it, you don't have to believe this, you just have to do it. Well, the fact we did it together, so we did it as a collective, it was done.
So
And
you
that's what
created the memory and he got carried away with your vibe.
it just completely subsumed it because I'm like, it's already done. It's
Amazing.
already done. And he obviously, on another level, got it because to send me a message later in the evening, and he was very aware there was no traffic on the road. And, he was going from Winchester to Cardiff. It's a major busy motorway section. So no traffic. He stopped and had something to eat. So he could have been even earlier. And so if you like, you're programming yourself, and I programmed him. So you can also use this. This is where I'm trying to start very small with people for them to understand it. So they start to have their improvements in their life immediately because it's that instant. So you can get out of bed and just remember that you had a great day. And so I've worked with one lady, a designer, and she read the book and she was having a meeting with her mom. She didn't have a great relationship with her mom. Um, and neither did her sister. Anyway, they were having a day out and with their mom, and they were just like, oh my gosh. And so I'm like, okay, let's do a remembering that you had the most fantastic day with your mom, that she was happy and light, and you were, everything was ease and flow. It was really easy for you. You had the most wonderful day. So she did that. And then the feedback that I had afterwards was that they had their day with their mom. And that's exactly what happened. So then she tells her sister about doing this technique. And her sister was like, but that's exactly what happened. We had a wonderful day with mom. We never have a day like that. She was light and easy. She wasn't negative, because it was already programmed, if you like, to be out there that this was a good day. So anyway, I then thought, oh, right, this lady's going to be like doing all these things. And anyway, what she took from it was that she decided she just wanted to get out of bed every day and remember that she'd had a great day. And so she just literally got out of bed and remembered how to have a great day. She was working better. Her clients were nicer. She got more money in. Everything started to change. So I'm like, oh, would you like to work together and we can, do something? And she was like, no, I'm absolutely delighted that I get out of bed every day. I'm having an ease and flow happy day. I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying my customers. I'm enjoying my work. I've doubled my workload. I've tripled my income. And so that was enough for her. And it was just like, wow, because for somebody like myself, I'm quite driven. I would be like, oh my gosh, can we do this, do this, do this? And you sort of think, well, it is just enough to have a good day. And we don't give ourselves permission enough to have a good day. And we don't think how to have a good day. And yet, to have a good day, you can just remember you have a good day.
This is just so fascinating, so different and unusual. So when did you tell me you wrote the book?
So I wrote the book um, a year last Christmas.
And you had
And
a memory of writing it, didn't you? Because you
yes, absolutely. It was just like, so I'm a jeweler as my profession. So I have a successful jewelry business, but I have been doing personal development for 30 years. So, and as a sole trader, then limited company, as a single mom. My shop is tiny; it's 8 foot by 8 foot, or 8 steps by 8 steps. And but we've been in Vogue, we've been in Tatler, because I've just had this expanse of remembering that I have, the right kind of things come into my life, etc. So jewelry for us is really busy at Christmas, and I knew I wanted to write the book because I'd been working with different people and having massive successes where they were getting the life they wanted, they were getting the homes they wanted. And it was just like screaming at me, you've got to get this book out, you've got to do this, you've got to start sharing it. And I wrote it at Christmas. And yet it's funny, I was at this event recently, the same event we were at, and one of the guys there actually had a really big jewelry business background. And I'd sort of said, oh, we do 2/3 of our income at Christmas, so it's really busy. You have to be organised. You're working long hours. And he went, actually, 75% of your business is done at Christmas. Okay, thank you for telling me. And I wrote the book in a week.
Ah, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and I got up at 4 in the morning. It was just like I'd remembered I'd done it. So, and I have a young family, so my daughter's a teenager, so I was having to get up to get her to sorted. So I'd write from 4 till 7, then she'd start, then I'd start my day, then I'd go to the shop, sort of thing. And I'm a morning person, so that suited me. And then I was very lucky to be working with Peggy McCall from Canada as well. So she read the book. She was like, "My gosh, this is amazing." And it then took us 6 months to get the editing and everything correct and the designs and stuff. It's quite a process with the book, sort of thing.
I know.
And
Well,
that's why, yeah. So then we published in the June. But again, still running the business and winning awards. I won F Entrepreneur 100. I won Business of the Year in Winchester. I won Business Leader of the Year. So, but I had remembered I'd won things so that I could give clarity and substance and uh, social. Oh gosh, what's the word? That's just gone out of my head actually. And social proof that I was a good I am a good business person, and that then I did that as well. So yeah.
Donna, clearly imagination is really important. Have you always been good at visualization? So how did you train yourself to be a better visualizer?
I'm auditory and kinesthetic as my natural modem. So it's just like modalities. So I hear things and then I feel them. And then I often don't think I can see things, but it's about getting into the feeling. And because I'm writing it out, and to be fair, mine's quite boring. I can like so as I say to you, when you describe about going to the beach and parking the car and having an easy walk down to the beach, finding that great spot and the sun's warm and the sea's splashing on the shoreline and you're sat down, you just feel that contentment and bliss with the warmness of your bones and because it is so healing at the beach. Um, that's probably as far as my description goes. When some other people go and the sand was caught, this beautiful white color with diamond shine it, and the blue had the same sparkles, and it was this, I haven't got a clue. So literally, I write it out as I feel it. And so I literally connect to my feelings. And as I say to you, it can be for anything. So the journey for the car, you know what it's like when you're driving the car and you're on the motorway and it's effortless. It's the times when you go from A to B and you can't even remember doing it, but you just know you're in the flow. It's easy. So it's just tapping into those great memories and that you've already got of how that you've experienced. And then that's what I do. So, and then if I do need visual stimulation, I can just get them from magazines, download them from, have them there and just look at them. And then so the one thing this is amazing for, and I've done this again, 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 is people buying their dream home. And so what I say to them, so one of my ladies has just moved into her dream home. She came to me before Christmas. She was really down. She couldn't get divorced. She couldn't get a household. She wanted to move on. So we did a remembering about, and she's like, oh, it's all too complicated. And I'm like, right, go and find me your dream home. And so she goes and finds me her dream home. I'm like, right, okay, now I want you to start consciously living in the dream home. I want you to remember that you get up in the morning and you are now in your dream home. You are actually having coffee, you're putting the shower on, you knowing you've got to go to the garden centre in the morning. So, all the practical things you'll be doing, you're not doing it in where you are. And this is the art of this, because we all seem to come from the 3D life that we're living, and we can't seem to move into the new feeling and into the new way. And this is where the remembering technique activates manifesting. Because when you're starting to consciously live in your new life, in your new world, that's where you'll move to. Absolutely effortless and easily. So this lady came to see me, as I say, before Christmas. We worked together. We got the dream home. And this often happens. It's never a straight road like a pilot going from London to New York. He never goes in a straight line. He zigzags, but gets you there safely. The mind does the same. So we sat down, decided we were going to sell the house. Remember, that was done to lovely people. She said suddenly had a big influx of people come to the house. We then saw her living in her new home. The new home sold. And she was devastated. And I'm like, please don't be devastated. Honestly, we just got to stay clear and focused and connected to the new home. She moved in on the 20th of May this year. Her house sold. She sorted the divorce out with her ex-husband. The new house that she wanted, her dream house, fell through. So just as her house was selling and it had fallen and it was selling and she was ready to move, the new house she wanted to go to fell through, and she got the phone call saying the house is yours. And she just literally exchanged the next week and she moved in on the 20th of May.
Wow, amazing.
And
So,
I've done that again and again and again. One lady been trying to buy a house for months. Spoke to her. We were at an event at the House of Lords actually when I was winning one of my awards, and I said, "Oh, can I help you?" And literally, she was like, "I'd really like to buy this house. It's taken months. Nobody can help me. We can't sort the problems out." So we did a remembering technique together. That was on the Wednesday. the following so that weekend she actually went and got the keys to the property, which was empty, and she remembered consciously being in the property and that everything was hers, and we changed her language. And then Tuesday she texted me, said all the problems have gone. They exchanged on the Thursday, and she moved in the following Friday. And that's exactly what we'd remembered when we were together at the event.
Wow. So, Donna, it sounds as though you take people in as students.
Yes, we do. We do. We have a course, and we have a mentoring facility as well. And we've got another workshop on the 23rd of September in Winchester, where I'll be talking live. And that's a 2-hour event. Yes.
Okay. So you're going to send me a link for that,
Yes,
correct?
absolutely. Yes. We're just getting the
Everything we're
QR code
looking
sorted.
for in the show notes. And
Yes.
you've given me an email. That's Donna at therememberingtechnique.com.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Um, you know, obviously the next step will be for me to acquire your book and read it. Because it really
But
sounds
as I said, it is on Amazon. It's also on Kindle, and it's also on Audible.
Audible. Oh,
Yes.
personally, I love Audible.
Yes.
Best thing out, you're talking about long journeys that go with ease and flow. Audible has just changed my life.
Absolutely. You can learn so much in that journey, can't you? And just revisit those chapters again. And yeah, no, absolutely. I love Audible myself. And I'm reading the book. So you'll hear me talking about the book as well. Yeah.
Great. So it's just amazing. Is there anything else that I haven't included in this conversation that you would like to say?
No, I think, I've been doing this technique a long time now. So it's from 2017 to date. Um, you can use it in all areas of your life. So you can use it for your health, you can use it for money, you can use it for goal setting, you can use it for moving house, you can use it for remembering your ideal partner. It really does just literally go through all areas of your life. But I would just recommend you start slowly so that your mind starts to think differently. And always with these things, you start to do it naturally. And then, but the big art of it is discipline. You have to make the time to think in ink. When you think in ink and you write it out in the future,
Oh, that's
and
a good reminder. Think in ink. I like that.
think in ink, raise your vibration, be in a good mood when you do it. So you're easily able to access your really good feelings. And then literally open your head and heart and write out your memory exactly how you want it. And then just sign so literally in the future. And a way that I work that really is very powerful is I play a game. So it's not difficult, it's not a labor of love, it's not, and if it doesn't work or it isn't right, cross it out, start again, do it another day when you've got ABBA on, or you're feeling great. But literally just know, oh gosh, I'm playing this game. Can this really happen? Be curious and have a go. Just have a go. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain.
I do have a question. It occurred to me during something you said. Um, could you isolate the difference between this remembering technique and a letter from your future self?
Yes. Yes. So when you use the letter from your future self, which I've done in the past as well.
I have too, and it's quite fun when you're doing it. But then,
Yes.
6 months later, a physical letter actually arrives, and half the stuff hasn't happened.
Yes. So this is where, and this again is this nuance. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's about language.
Mhm.
So when we're actually writing those letters to our future self, we're talking about, oh, dear Donna, you've created this, you've done that. Da, da. But actually, when you just say, I have the most incredible memory. I remember. I remember what it's literally the mind knows it's changed the language, and that's how it programs the mind to take the action. Because, as I say to you, you can go into the future, you can do reverse engineering stuff. These all go hand in glove with this. There's nothing wrong with that. But actually, the minute you change your language, and it's interesting because when I was working with the lady that we did the really quick house move, she'd bought garden gates. And it's all these little nuances that work. And so she was like, "Oh, well, I've got my garden gates." And I'm like, "No, no, no, it doesn't work like that. You are walking through your garden gates that were easily and effortlessly hung, and your heart sings from that." I remember the day it happened, and literally, and that's how it all works from that. Those changes, it's those inflections in your speech and your wording that bring your memory alive. And as I say to you, it's about that day, when you had your first kiss, when you fell in love, when you had that great meal, the first, wonderful glass of wine. You're using all those senses to literally create a fond, brilliant, happy memory, and the mind reacts to that. And then when you do that in the future, because you're playing a game and it's just fun, it's easy, you're not attached to it. This is the law of detachment. This is how you do the law of detachment.
Well, of course, I've heard of letting go. I suppose it's the same thing.
It is letting go. It's just like, because when you work with the spiritual laws, there's actions and consequences. The law of action and consequences is very powerful. This again is the actions of law and the law of actions and consequences. It's also the law of detachment, and also it's a very unique way of loving yourself. And we don't put ourselves first, and we don't take the time to do that. And this is where it starts to shift. So you're not coming from a selfish, selfless place. You're actually just literally starting to work, because this goes much deeper into remembering who you are, and your higher self, your higher being, your soul wants nothing but the best for you. And literally, when you start remembering that and you start working with that, which is what you can do, you can start to remember shifting your limiting beliefs. You can remember without actually living the memories again, without actually living through the trauma or anything like that. And this really is where you start to talk to your soul, you start to talk to your subconscious mind. And this is how your language to yourself means that you literally are living your best life for your highest good and the good of all, so that it means that the energy just goes out there. And there's many things I can teach you to where to use it that just like are fun and interesting, but it's about literally connecting to power. We're incredibly powerful. And the book says it in there, there were three gods and they wanted to give man power. And so one god said, "Should we put it on top of a mountain?" They were like, "No, no, man will find a way and he'll go and get it." And then another god said, "Oh, we'll put it at the bottom of the ocean." And the other god said, "No, we can't do that because he'll find a way to go to the bottom of the ocean." And then the third god said, "Why don't we put it inside man himself? He'll never think to look there." And this is the way you do that.
Excellent. Well, what a great note to end on.
Thank you very much, Anne. It's been a delight to talk to you and connect. It really has. Thank you.
Well, likewise. I'm so pleased that we met. What, 8 days ago? 9 days ago?
I know, absolutely. And if I can help in any way, if you want to know anything or do anything, please do not hesitate to contact me. I'm there to support people. This is about people having a great journey, a better life. And as I say to you, even if it's just getting up in the morning and having a great day, or as my hairdresser does, she just literally remembers there's no cyclists on the road so she can drive carefully to work. And that's exactly the journey she has.
Great stuff. Well, Donna Laine, thank you very much. I've just noticed that your name is not in the corner of the screen, but it will be in the show notes. Donna Laine.
Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Anne. Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Absolutely.
Thank you.
You can set yourself up to win at the game of life. Become familiar with the laws of the universe. You have infinite potential. You can influence reality. quantum growth and connection, explores success strategies, power principles, relationship rescue, and the quantum field.